mates, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Muna, and on today's video we're going to learn how to make this beautiful gown. If it's something you're interested, make sure you watch the video to the end. Let's get started. For this tutorial, I'm making use of 3 yards of this crepe fabric. After that, I've gone ahead to mark out our basic lines, our shoulder, bust point, under bust, waist, and also the full length of the top. Next, we want to determine the neck depth of it. I'm making use of about 3 inches for neck depth. Mark out our shoulder, come down with about 1 inch, make a slant curve like we usually do, and also come down about 7.5 inches for our armhole, and also make a straight line just like this and connect it out just as you see me doing like this. And after that, to determine our armhole curve, we are going to divide the measurement we have into 2, and at that point you will come out with about half an inch. I'm just making the video fast because it's a very long video and I don't want to do a part 1 and a part 2, so please bear with me and I hope you understand. So after marking out our bust measurements, we just want to use our curve rule to make a curve just as you see me doing like this. After we are done with that, we just want to mark out our nipple to nipple measurement. Nipple measurement is about 8 inches. 8 inches divided by 2 is about 4 inches. That is our dart measurement. So I'm marking out 4 inches all around just as you see me doing like this. And at the waist side, I'm coming in about half an inch, and I'm also going out about half an inch, and I'm also connecting it just like this on the bust point like this. And also I came up with about 1.5 of an inch at the full length, and I'm just connecting it out just as you see me doing like this. Next, to determine the neck depth, I came down with about 8.5. It all depends on how deep you want. It's like a v-neck. It all depends on how deep you want your neck to be. So I came down with about 8.5, and I went in with about half an inch, and I'll also connect it just as you see me doing like this, using my curve from the under bust. I'm making a curve meeting the points of where my neck line is. And next, I'm just marking out my other basic measurements, and I'm adding 1 inch for the waist side for the darts. Forget to add about 1 inches also when taking out the other measurements, the waist, the hip, and also on the bust. I add about 1 inches all around and connect it just as you see me doing like this. And at the under bust, you want to come up with about half of an inch. After marking it, you want to use your curve rule to make a slant curve meeting the under bust point just as you see me doing like this. That will serve like a cup for the upper part. And also for the neck, you want to use your ruler to just make a straight line meeting that line you came out with for the neck depth. And at the hip side, you want to come up with about 2.5 of an inch, or you can as well start on the waist line depending on how high or how deep you want it to be. Then you use your curve rule to make a curve just as you see me doing like this. But I would advise you start from the waist part. I later started at the waist part to just make a curve so to make it look more sharp. And after that, you just want to label it all around and cut it out just as you see me doing like this. And that's just basically all for the front part of making this gown. Now let's cut it out. Please, when cutting it out, make sure you just pay attention to detail, or just watch what I'm doing and how I cut out, especially for the neck parts. If you don't understand, just watch what I'm doing, and this is how you're just going to cut yours just like this. You don't need to rush, just take your time when cutting out your basic bodies just like this. on the yoke parts, we can also do a splash and spread. For this video, I'm not doing a splash and spread method. I just want to cut it out, and this is how it will be looking. Next, let's draft out the back pattern. For the back pattern, it's just basically the same way we did for the front, but the only difference is that for the back, we're just going to mark out our starting line, our bust point, and also our waistline. We're not going to mark out full length because the front for the dress is bigger than the back, so we're just going to use only our half length at the back. So this is how we're going to do this, and we're not going to mark out our under bust because there's no bust at the back. So just mark out your starting line, your waistline, your bust line, and also your waistline. That's all the measurements we'll be needing for the back pattern. Next, once you mark out the depth of our back neckline will be about 1.5 inch. For our front, it's about 8 inches, but for our back it will be about 1.5 inch. The same 3 inches for both the front and the back. Our shoulder is the same thing, and also our armhole curve. All the measurements are basically the same thing. And note, please, when marking out, you are going to see towards the video that I had to remark it again because I forgot to take out our 1 inch for our zip allowance. So you can mark out about 1 inches, just as you see me doing like this, for our zip allowance. That should be the first thing you're going to do to avoid you making the same mistake I made on this video. But if you've done that beforehand, there's no problem. Just watch what I'm doing and let's just remark the whole measurement again. The same 3 inches, but we're going to start from that 1 inch that we take for our zip allowance, and we're going to just extend it out just like this. Our shoulder measurement, the same thing. We're just going to, there'll just be a little slight changes in taking in adjustments of the measurements, and that's all for it. But if you marked out about 1 inch first at the beginning of before marking out your other basic measurements, you are okay with it. So let's just mark out the other pattern the way we always do in this video. And next, we're just going to take our dart measurement at that starting line from that zip allowance we took. We're going to take about 4 inches just only at the bust point and also at the waist. We're just going to make a straight line like this and also come out to about half of an inch the same we did on that place. I'm just going to connect it out just as you see me doing like this. And next, we're just going to take out our other basic body measurement, and I guess that's all for drafting out the back pattern. And at the waist side, I went in with about half of an inch to avoid my zip from bulging when fixing my zip. So I just want to connect it out just like this, and now let's just cut it out just as you see me doing like this. This is how the front and the back should be looking. And next, let's just take this pattern paper and cut it directly to our fabric. Before cutting the upper part of on your fabric, you want to cut down the down part by just folding your fabric into 4 and just cut down. Take out your half length for the front and your desired full length. After doing that, you just want to cut it out just as you see me doing like this. For me, I just cut it like an A line, and I'm just trying to notch the center of the down part just as you see me doing like this, and that's all for the down part. Next, let's just cut for the upper part of the fabric. When cutting for the upper part, make sure you are adding allowance all around just as you see me doing. I'm just trying to pin down the center front, and I'm adding about 1 inch allowance all around the body just like this. This is after cutting both the front and the back pattern. Next, I've gone ahead to join the center front and also the side front together, and also use my lining to turn it, just as you see me doing like this. I wasn't able to make a video of it, but just look at how I'm indicating. You don't close the upper part, you don't close the down part, just only the side. That is where you're going to close. And for the cup part, I've went ahead to join it. Don't mind me using different lining. I ran out of lining, so I'm just managing the one I have. So I didn't close the part, only not sew the darts, and also close the neck part and also the side part. And for the back, I've gone ahead to close it up, sew out the darts, and next is to just join everything together. For the center front of the cup darts, at first you want to join it, make sure it's aligned at the center of the down part of your front pattern. You just want to use your pin to pin it down, just as you see me doing like this. And next, you just want to determine, we took out about half an inch, so I'm just trying to divide that two parts into two so that it will be equal. So after dividing this, I'm just marking out where I will be starting from. That will be where my neck line for the upper part will be starting from. I'm just trying to just pin it down like this, and next you're just going to pin it all around and take it to your sewing machine and stitch it down, just as you see me doing like this. You don't have to, just take your time, make sure everything is pinned down perfectly before going to the sewing machine to sew it down. And this is how yours should be looking after pinning down the first part. Next, I'm just going to do the same thing I did for the first part. I'm going to do it for the second part, and next thing is to go straight to the sewing machine and stitch it down. So I'm just trying to make sure, yes, that my measurements are the same. Next is to just sew it down on the machine. Stitching it down, I'm just trying to just measure my neck depth to see if it's exactly the same before joining my shoulder, and also on the full length I'm just trying to see if it's the same. But if yours is higher, it can as well cut it out, but if it's not, you can just as well leave it and just join the back part of it. When joining the back part, you notice that the front part is longer than the back part. So you just want to turn our shoulder and neck after joining our shoulder, just like this. And I've also went ahead to trim the front part. As you can see, it's more pointy than before. So that's our advice from the beginning of the video. You can also start at the waistline to make it have more vertical, or will I say more sharp edge. So this is how I'm just trying to just show you guys that I've went ahead to cut it out, and this is how it should be looking. Next is to join the down part and notch the center. Make sure you notch the center part of your upper part, and also the notch at the down part. You want to pin both the upper part and the down part together, and if you can make a pleat, you can make gathers, it depends on you. But for this tutorial, I made a pleat. And like I said, if you want yours to be fuller, you can use more than 3 yards of fabric, or you can as well use 3 yards of fabric, depending on you. And if you want yours to be as long as mine, you can go ahead and make a full length. If you want yours to be short, you can go ahead and make a short length as well. You're just going to just pin down the center and also the zip sides. You're just going to pin the center and also the sides of the fabric, and next thing, you're just going to go to your sewing machine and plait it down. And let's not forget our 1 inch allowance that we left for the zip when cutting on our pattern paper. So I'm just trying to mark out 1 inch allowance here, and I'm just trying to just adjust it. That's where my pleating is going to start. And also on the other side, I'm going to mark about 1 inch allowance on that side for the zipper allowance, and after that 1 inch allowance, that's where our pleating or our gathers is going to start from. This is after joining the down parts. As you can see, this is how beautiful our dress is looking. And I've also went ahead to fix our zip for this dress. You can as well put a lining at the down part if you want to put a lining, but if you don't still want to put a lining, you can as well just leave it like this. So it's all depending on you. If you want to put a lining to make it more fuller, there's no problem. If you don't want to put a lining, you can just only put a lining at the upper part and just leave it just like this. And next is for us to fix our sleeve. In cutting our sleeve, I'm making use of this elastic for the hem part of our sleeve because I want it to be like a puff sleeve. You can also make your straight sleeve, but me, I'm making a puff sleeve. So the length of our puff sleeve is about 8 inches, but I added extra 4 inches because I'm going to plait the up, and also at the down parts I'm going to add about 1 inch for the folding of the down where our elastic is going to sit. So this is how it should be looking after folding it into 2. Make sure yours is fold into 4 rather. Make sure yours is fold into 4. And if your round sleeve is about 12 inches, make sure you add extra 5 to 6 inches on your round sleeve so that our elastic will be able to be folded properly. And you just make a straight line like this, and you want to come down with about 3.5 of an inch. Then you are just making a straight line like this. That is where our curve is going to start from for our sleeve. And next thing, I'm just going to take in about 2.5 of an inch, and I'm going to use my curve rule to just make a curve meeting the line just as you see me doing like this. And after using my curve rule like this, next I'm just going to curve it out with my free hands just like this, and I'm going to make a slant curve just like the slant line just like this. And that's all for cutting out the sleeve. And next is to just cut it out and sew it, join it to our fabric. But before joining to our fabric, we want to add our elastic by the hem part. And after cutting it out, this is how beautiful our sleeve is looking. Let's just fold in. You can also add lining if you want to add lining. If you don't want to add lining, you just fold in about 1 inches for where our elastic will sit, and you just attach it to your dress. And when cutting your elastic, if your round sleeve is 12, you can cut about 10 inches for it, because you know it's an elastic. If you cut it exactly 12, it might not be sitting firmly, but you can minus about 2 inches or 3 inches from your exact round sleeve measurements, and you'll cut it out like this. You cut 2 pieces for 2 sleeves, and I guess that's all for me. And that's all for making this dress. This is how it should be looking after joining our sleeve. And if you watch this video to the extent, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Final result of making this whole dress, and this is me styling it to church. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.